Episode 20, Boston Kid Loose in Manhattan. Being a city kid, I was at home on Boston subways, buses, in large crowds, and with all the city noise, traffic, smells, and hubbub. When I was 11, my brother Gary gave me a chance to see what a really big city was like when he invited me to stay with him at his apartment on Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn. He had recently graduated from Harvard and was working in Manhattan. He lived in the Bedford-Stuyvesant section of Brooklyn, a really rough neighborhood. It's even worse today. He had a Japanese immigrant roommate who also worked in Manhattan. Gary was always adventurous with his eating. Since I was staying for a week over the Christmas school vacation, I had to eat what the two of them were eating. Well, there was something called matzum, which is an Armenian yogurt, and there was also Japanese raw fish and rice, plus many other exotic things I had never seen or eaten before. All the above was hard to choke down, but if you are hungry, you will eat. Gary was great with me, always giving me independence and the benefit of the doubt. He worried about me traipsing over New York City on my own. He never showed it. He gave me a subway map and wrote out some basic information for me to use in traveling around the city. How to get back to his apartment, and how to find the important sites like Times Square, Hell's Kitchen, Harlem, and the Battery. I remember still that his subway stop was Nostrand Avenue. I would leave soon after he went to work, get on the subway, and sightsee New York City. I went to the top of the Empire State Building, then the tallest building in the world. I remember very distinctly being most impressed by the hundreds of yellow cabs that I saw from my high perch. I wandered around Times Square and then 42nd Street with its sleaze. I went to St. Patrick's Cathedral on Fifth Avenue and then went to the New York City Public Library, also on Fifth. How interesting it is that one of my own daughters, Ursula, later became a librarian in the New York City library system. I went downtown to the Battery and on the ferry to the Statue of Liberty. I considered going over to Staten Island on another ferry, but my funds were short. I went down to Canal Street with its multitude of shops and then walked all the way east past Chinatown on Canal Street and back home to Brooklyn over the Manhattan Bridge. I did all that and saw many other things like Harlem, Central Park, the Bowery, when the hobos lived there, and Greenwich Village when it was really avant-garde. It was a great vacation. I have never forgotten it. Thank you for viewing or listening to my podcast episode. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, and if you so choose, I ask you to send a good review and perhaps refer friends who might be interested in this podcast series. Again, my thanks.